Hello, welcome to another beautiful edition of Locker Room Voice of the People TV. I am Jerry Alpeliohai. I've got a thrilling show for you today, and it promises to be exciting. Joining me today are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Emmanuel, who joins us virtually, and we're ready to break down all the action and share their hot takes as far as the football world is concerned. So our advice that we get into it, not to forget, stay tuned, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for those who are watching us on YouTube. And also don't forget you can call us via the WhatsApp number showing on the screen to join the conversation. That's also for those watching us on LCL TV channel 264. Ikechukwu, it's great to have you join us once again. What's happening in the exciting world of football for you?
Good evening, Jerry, and good evening to our viewers. A lot's happening. For me, speculations in the world of transfer. Emmanuel to Manchester United. I would like to see another Nigerian actually wear that jersey. I mean, even if it's not going to be for a long time. Anyhow, like me, you do now. I'm concerned. But then it's the truth, right? I would like to see
mighty for the Arokodare is now the standard.
Nobody's saying, come on. Young players come into a team and become superstar. When United signed Chicharito, he wasn't really a global star, but he came to United to prove himself. Yeah. So yeah, it's all about having another Nigerian put on that jersey. That's basically what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes, not that United standard or.
Arokodare is a decent player. He's been doing well for himself in the Belgian league.
Yeah, he's actually the best African player in that league.
He's a decent player. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we get to also join us virtually, and of course he's still having conversations with Ruben Amorim, and I think the last we heard about United was speculation about the goalkeeper.
Martinez.
We've not heard anything since then. And there's been a meme trending online where they said Manchester United are telling their fans and everybody that they will challenge for the league title next season. And there's a face of there's a certain animal that's been trending, and it has to do with one particular meme. So they now put on the jersey of Manchester United as if it was Onana in the face of that meme, and he was now laughing at those who were saying that Man United was going to challenge for the league, because, of course, we understand if Onana is in your goal, a relegation battle will be very certain. But it is what it is. Let's wait and see how that pans out. But we already know that the Super Falcons are preparing for the African Women Cup of Nations, and the former Super Falcons coach Randy WARDRO is in the news. He has criticized the Nigerian Football Federation for their poor financial management during his 4-year tenure. WARDRO, who helped the team qualify for both the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup and the 2024 Olympics, revealed that at times he went unpaid for up to 14 months. Was it at times? That's more than a year. It's not at times. You went unpaid, not at times. Okay? For 14 months, you owe the coach. He explained that his decision to continue coaching at the University of Pittsburgh was due to concerns over salary insecurity and the need for financial stability back home in the US. Imagine he didn't have the resources of his coaching job at University of Pittsburgh. This man would have been giving his family and his wife's story when they were asking, please, we need money for soup. He would now say, they've not paid me. Imagine how life would have been miserable for him if he had put all his talking about his eggs in the basket of the NFL. It would have been a dangerous situation to find himself. I think it's quite now understandable. I was not happy with the fact that he was still holding on to the University of Pittsburgh job while still coaching the Super Falcons. Now, we now know that this was the reason, because the financial security of being the coach of the Super Falcons was not there. Okay, we'll take a lesson from the man, and of course, we'll allow Nigerians to decide what they think about this latest revelation.
The NFF had reached out, and I told our president here at the time, absolutely, I would be interested. I didn't hear anything after that phone call about taking the job. A month later, my phone is literally just blowing up with people congratulating me. And I saw on my phone on the social media where I was the new coach of the Super Falcons, but I had never spoken to anybody from the Federation. There were times with the Federation that I wasn't paid for 14 months, well, I would have lost my home. It's going to be very difficult to continue winning if the Federation doesn't start to support things better. Other African countries are starting to invest more and put more into it, and eventually it's going to catch up. Too many people just think it's going to happen because you're Nigeria. It's not that way anymore. I just think this team could be a top 10 team in the world. I really.
All right. Quite a very, very interesting revelation there coming from Randy WARDRO, who said he was often disillusioned by the lack of long-term planning and proper infrastructure from the NFF. He claimed to have developed a 10-year developmental blueprint to help Nigeria win a World Cup, but said it was never implemented. He praised the potential of Nigerian players, but warned that relying on past success without investment in training facilities and systems would halt the country's progress. And imagine, I want to start with what he said. He said he heard from his friends that he was already the Super Falcons coach. They only called him, and a month later, people started calling him and congratulating him. He has not been offered the job. They just called him and told him about the job. So that means he was already congratulated before the NFF now did the needful of making it official. It's just like you are toasting a girl. Or no, you are being a friend with a girl. People are seeing you with that girl. And you know that you've not officially proposed to her. But people are already seeing that girl as your partner. And eventually, because of the pressure of people already saying that, he's your babe, he's your guy. So you now want to make it official just for the appearances to become, so that people will not say, imagine how embarrassing, see how administrators run football in this country.
Jerry, when you give a carpenter the job of a plumber, he's going to break all the pipes or all the equipment in the restroom or even in the kitchen, right? This is exactly what's happening to our football. People have no business in that particular space around it. Now let's look at what WARDRO said. It's quite very funny that a federation, right, is appointing someone, and it also speaks to the character of the man, because some persons will reject the job. I think that's what happened with the manager Nigeria who was actually looking at to bring for Super Eagles. I think it was Lagerback at some points where he actually rejected the job, and the rumor of him being appointed, and then
Bruno Labbadia.
Bruno Labbadia, God bless you. Bruno Labbadia. The rumor of him being appointed, and then rumor of him saying no. I didn't actually. There was no concrete conversation. Perhaps that was the same way they actually went about trying to bring in that man. And it's so sad that everything about this country is just cutting corners, and that is what they actually did with it. Now let's look at the second stanza of his conversation, which is money. Now
you said he almost lost his home.
Exactly.
Imagine he had relied solely on the Super Falcons job as his means of taking care of himself and his family.
The Jerry, 14 months you are owing him. He's not the first manager.
It's a trend.
Even also
the current Super Falcons coach,
yes,
Magudu, is old. I can say it on authority on this platform.
Leave local coaches. Those ones
it's a steady thing.
That one are normal. We're talking about foreign coaches. Gernot Rohr also have the same issue. You go back, you see all of them all have this particular issue. Now the question is, every single time there is a budget for these particular people, why are they being owed when they budgeted the money and the money have left where it's supposed to live to where the people managing our football is? Why is it difficult for the money to actually move from this account to the account of the person who is actually the manager of the Super Eagles or the national team? Now 14 months, he almost lost his home, right? Now that is not even if he has lost his home, that would just be on him. It's not going to be on the team, right? Now let's look at the part where
how will he be able to concentrate on the job?
That's what I'm saying. Of course,
Because,
people who are running our football really don't care. If they see him giving us bad results, they'll just kick him out. That's none of their business. That's exactly what it means. Now, let's look at the points where he's saying, okay, now, after the fact that he lost his home, the issue of blueprint that would have given Super Falcons a World Cup in 10 years. Jerry.
Was never implemented.
Jerry,
that's what it's
every top nation in the world, I'm talking about female football now, I don't even want to talk about male football. Every top female football nation in the world today have a blueprint that they operate on. At some point, it was Germany in Europe that was on fire when they had likes of Michael Bridget, who was so hot that she was actually one of the best strikers in the world. They have top players at that point, and it was said that German team have a system that operates in a certain way that the team that will be part of this tournament in the next 4 years, the girls are already in camp, so they have that project going for them. England started their project in 2012, and after that 2012, England have been in numerous finals. In fact, they are in the finals of the Under-21 Euro Championship now, making it back to back. Okay, look at countries like the United States of America in female football. Their project is still very, very well running. China as well. Brazil, that is supposed to have the natural talent. Where are they today? Of course, it tells you that Brazil, just like Nigeria, is relying very much on talent. But the difference is that Brazilian football is way more advanced than our football. That's exactly why we're struggling. He also made mention of something that Nigerian national team is supposed to be among the top 10 footballing nations in the world. Jerry, as at 1999, when the first World Cup, when our female team went to I think it was 99 was the first World Cup.
Yeah, 1999.
1999. How many teams in Europe have a decent football national team at that point? If you take away Canada, take away Germany, United States of America, England's female football is not as big as it is today. So if we had built a project at that time, until 2009, we would have at least gotten to the World Cup semi-final or even won the World Cup, because we have a very good talent pool in Nigeria. I mean, that talent pool was responsible for the likes of Asisat Oshoala and co. Right? So if these guys have, if these girls have been through that particular pipeline, by now would have had a team that would have been competing at the global stage. We will not be having reason to be finding our girls around 40th position in world female football. It's so sad. When I saw the FIFA ranking, I was wondering how we actually got to this particular point. Look at the teams that are better than us at this point. After that 99, they don't even have what is best described as a footballing structure in Europe at that point. And of course, he won. He said, yes, we always have that belief that it is Nigeria who always win. And this is where it has gotten us. Male football, also look at it. In Africa, we are losing it very, very fast. We are losing it very fast. The likes of South Africa, if we don't do anything about it, we might just have the talent, perhaps we will still continue to poach, foreign-born Nigerians. But then, in Africa here, those teams will continue to dominate. Look at how they are. Look at what they are actually doing in the CAF Champions League at this point. South African clubs that are doing very well. The North Africans have always been awesome in the CAF Champions League. But then the West Africans, particularly Nigeria, we don't seem to care anymore about football development. We just want you to just go make it. When you get it, then we can actually bring you back to Super Eagles. It doesn't work that way. And I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is that across Africa, right, Nigeria particularly, we are yet to actually understand the value that comes with football monetarily. We've always relied on the fact that, yes, for every tournament, there's a vote, there's a certain amount of money that's voted for it. That money will come into the coffers of the team, and then perhaps, do one or two things. We've not yet understood that in your own country, you can actually develop football to a point where you have standard infrastructure, investors will come in, and then you have a proper football development. If the likes of Morocco can do it, if Egypt have not been to the World Cup semi-final before, but we've seen that they have a steady, league in Africa. the likes of Morocco, Algeria, they have a better league where our players will go, you see them, you know, when they play, you think they come back and tell you it feels like they are playing in Europe, even in Tunisia.
Anyway, we understand that Maya is with us. You know what? The thing is that there's a reflection that just comes whenever the issues with this country is concerned. And the fact that, imagine England journalists are having a platform like this and they are talking about what it means to manage football and so on and so forth. They are talking about having a development plan. The former coach of the women team is coming out to say this. Imagine how many people will be fired. How many people are going to lose their job if this comes out. But I'm telling you, as I'm speaking right now, those who are running football in Nigeria, they don't care. Because look at all the sectors. Which of the sector is actually even working? Because it's a trend where we accept failure as a standard. You know, and we will say this today. Tomorrow it will still be the same thing. I don't know.
Well, the simple thing is this: you cannot have a plumber become an electrician, even though if he has an idea. The bottom line is this: it's a plumber. He's not an electrician, and you probably do a very bad job, and that's the problem we have. A quick one: the first female World Cup was 1991. Nigeria got to the quarterfinals in 1999, and we're thinking that by the next World Cup we would have done way better. However, everything went down the drain. Let me give you a quick example. Remember, I think about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, before the friendly game against Cameroon, it took a private person, a private club, to rescue the Super Falcons. They had no facility that they would train in. The private Beyond Limit and their management team came to the rescue of Super Falcons, and that was where they were. There is no infrastructure for the team that is supposed to represent our national team. It took the intervention of a private body to help us. Also, remember when I think sometimes last year when we were talking about WARDRO, I said this thing. I said WARDRO is not coming out to say anything. And the reason why the NFF agreed that WARDRO should keep his job in US and also be coaching Nigeria, which does not make any logical sense. A national team coach coaching another university team, somebody that's supposed to be scouting, younger talents for our national team. They allowed him to do two jobs because they were owing him. Now WARDRO has come out after about 4 or 5 months of leaving the job. He has come out to tell us that he was being owed 14 months salary, and we expect, any development to come. It's as simple as tomorrow's sun will rise. Those running our football do not have any clue of how football is supposed to be run, and that's just the honest truth. And I'll give a typical example. During the 1990, when the World Cup started in 1991, it was China, then Sweden came in 95, USA in 99, and just what those teams they had a plan. They had a plan, but Nigeria, after all these years, we do not have a plan. And like what John has pointed out, if we don't take time, right, our female team will go the way of the male team. The reason why we are still giants in Africa, in quotes now, is because female football development in Africa is really poor. Remove Cameroon, remove South Africa, remove Morocco, who is just coming to the limelight, then US again. Every other person, where Equatorial Guinea, they came like the breeze and they fell off. Remove those people, every other country in Africa, their female football development has been very poor, and that's the reason why we are doing so well in quotes in Africa. If you go outside Africa, look at how terrible we play. It goes to show the lack of development, the lack of preparation we have put in all these years. After 34 years, Nigeria, the best performance for Nigeria, the best outing for Nigeria is 26 years ago. The 1999 quarterfinal stage that we got to, that's the best we got into after 34 years of the female World Cup. It shows how poor we have planned ourselves. It shows how poor things have been. The bottom line is for us to get it right, those running our football, they need to have. We need to get people who are actually interested in running football. If not, we will continue to say this thing from now to tomorrow. I mean, it doesn't even make any sense. How do you owe a coach for 14 months and they've released money to you guys? And I keep asking the question again. Why is it that EFCC will run after Yahoo boys? The major Yahoo boys that are in the glass house, nobody is running after them. How can you owe a coach for 14 months when money has been given to you? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And I hope, you know, the anti-corruption agency will look into this, because it's disgraceful that over the years, the same thing continues to happen. They will allocate money for some people will sit down and eat the money, and the people that play for Nigeria with their sweat, that work for Nigeria with their sweat, they will be starved for a very long time. It's just so shameful, the kind of situation we find ourselves. And until we get it right, we'll continue to have this kind of discussion.
All right, until we get it right, we'll continue to have all this discussion. Talking about WARDRO, he concluded by urging the NFF to take football development seriously or risk falling behind as other African nations rise. And it's pretty sad. Let's see how this pans out as far as this one is concerned. Well, let's talk about the Super Eagles, where the Super Eagles head coach Chelle is reportedly dissatisfied with the performance of his team's defense, particularly under the leadership of Captain William Ekong'S. Despite the 2-0 win over Rwanda, Chelle is concerned about the number of chances conceded and the lack of pace in Ekong'S game, which he believes undermines their high pressing style and attacking fullbacks. As a result, Chelle is intensifying his search for new defensive options to strengthen the back line. One of his main targets is German-born defender, talking about Maurice Jens, whom he plans to meet following a delay due to Jens' recent wedding. And Jens is among several potential additions to the national team setup. Another player on Chelle's radar is Chubuike Nwawu, a former Enyimba defender who impressed in the Austrian Bundesliga with Wolfsberger AC and earned a spot in the league's team of the season. And Nwawu is attracting interest from clubs in Germany, Belgium, and France ahead of a possible summer move. Yeah, this is the time we saw the likes of Benjamin Fredericks, and we also saw the West Brom Felix Agu. We also saw I'm trying to remember the West Brom player who is back now, Shemi Ajayi, I beg your pardon, and all of that. I think we should not be worried too much about Tristan Ekong. Definitely, age is no longer on his side. He's playing in the Saudi League, for instance, and we should start planning for after Tristan Ekong.
You know, this Tristan Ekong conversation, it shows that, I mean, coming out now from Eric Chelle making this comment shows that there is a very terrible handover mechanism, you know, from the previous coach to the one who is managing Super Eagles. Because I expected that, you know, in an organization, when you're actually leaving an office, every detail of that office, including, let me use coaches, for example, which is the case now. Every player's profile, their abilities, every single one of them will be documented for the next manager who is coming in to actually see through these things and then get to understand, you know, who is who and how to actually get the best out of them. Now, the same thing that, you know, was Jose Pacero's team. Of course, the assistant coach said this a couple of months ago, that they discovered after our first game against Equatorial Guinea that through second, very, very slow. So they had to actually create a system that will really help him, right? Using the likes of Kevin Bassey and Shemi Ajayi to ever cover for his lack of pace. That was how he actually, you know, gave us his best performance. Of course, remember, he was the best player in that particular tournament that just ended in Cote d'Ivoire. Now, the same person was the reason why we actually considered a late goal against Zimbabwe in that particular, you know, agonizing friendly World Cup qualifiers that you know, put us in a very precarious situation as it is today. Now, if Eric Chelle has gotten that brief from the previous manager or from NFF, which of course they've gotten from the previous manager, it will be easier for him to actually look at, you know, Tristan Ekong and understand where his strength is and actually make, you know, good use of him. Now we are in a position where...
That's why you have a Guavon there, who's the director of football in he should be able to pass on the information.
My-
So what's now his job?
My point, exactly my point, that
Yes.
there's a very terrible means of transfer,
Communication.
right?
Yeah.
If they transferred properly to this manager, I would have known that, okay, this is the strength of this each player here, and this is exactly how you're going to make good use of them, especially the ones playing the back line. Now we're in this position, couple of months after, we've played our game, and then he's seen it himself. He now understood that this guy is quite slow. He cannot actually work for me as I actually want. He's now headhunting for defenders. Now it's going to take a while for whoever it is he's going to bring in to actually blood in with Shemi Ajayi or whatever system he's going to bring. Troost-Ekong has been a mainstay for the Super Eagles, right? I don't know how he's going to do it, but it tells, it shows, a very deep lack of preparation on the part of the Super Eagles and people who have managed the Super Eagles. I just hope he succeeds to get someone who's going to really cover for Troost-Ekong. But then, it is Nigeria. I don't know how these people who run our football really think. But every single time, some of these managers or ex-international open their mouth to talk about the Super Eagles, it gives you this feel like, come on, do these people even really feel what the fans feel? Do these people really want the team to really qualify? Or is the qualification for them just about the money that's going to come out of it? Or are they even really Nigerians to really understand the pulse of the people?
All right, Maiwa, it is a very interesting situation. We know the defense has been the major issue as far as the Super Eagles is concerned. And coming from Eric Chelle, he's already looking at options because he needs a team that is fast, pacey, and can be able to meet up the standard he's trying to set. And if Troost-Ekong age is no longer on his side, I think it's the best time to start making plans to a start. We saw that even in the friendlies.
Well, I think I want to caution Chelle a bit. Troost-Ekong is the leader of the team. You don't come out and attack your leader that way. If you are looking for other alternative, you don't come out and put Troost-Ekong on blast. Yes, Troost-Ekong was an issue in the goal that was considered against Zimbabwe. However, Eric Chelle decided to play an unfit Troost-Ekong. And the reason for that is very simple. We don't have a suitable replacement in the center of defense, and that's the reason. And that's just it. And it is the job of the coach to figure that out, not him coming out to put, Troost-Ekong on blast. That's number one. Number two, I think it is very correct. We need to find a replacement, and we need the replacement like yesterday. Apart from Troost-Ekong, even the other central defense, which is Shemi Ajayi, is not even the fastest. It's not the fastest. It's just that if Shemi Ajayi is there is always there is this synergy between him and Troost-Ekong, and that makes our center of defense a bit stable. And that's the reason why if one of them is not paired together, we have these lapses. So definitely there is a need for us to overhaul our defense. And it's not even the defense alone. There are a lot of key positions in the midfield that we need people that we need stable replacement for. We don't have somebody that will fill in the shoes of Anolise, and that has been there for a very, very long time. And we need that replacement also, and it's the job of Chelle to do that. However, the question is this, which is always sad when we talk about it. Why is it that we are always relying on foreign-born players? In the report, Chelle is thinking of talking to somebody in Germany who probably consider Nigeria, who probably, we have to go and beg him to consider Nigeria to come and play for us. We cannot continue to rely on foreign-based players to solve our issue. It might be a temporary fix, but it will work in the long run. The only solution for us to be able to nip this issue in the bud is very simple. Let us have a solid pipeline for players, meaning our age-grade competition needs to work properly. Our age-grade team needs to work properly. That is where the talent pipeline will come from for us to get suitable replacements that will last for us in a very long time. Not all these, quick fix that we usually do. After 2-3 years, some of these foreign-born invitees, they get washed out. How long did Amobi play for us? How long did Efetobo Esoje play for us? There are a whole lot of them like that. So it's good that Chelle is trying to find a quick fix solution. However, the quick fix solution is not the actual solution that we need.
All right, a quick fix solution is not the answer that we need. But wait and see what the decision he's going to make is going to turn out, because We'll look forward to the next World Cup qualifiers. Anyway, let's talk about the former Super Eagles coach Sunday has urged Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen to join the English Premier League if he wants to stay relevant on the global football stage. And the ex-Super Eagles captain emphasized that playing in England would keep Osimhen in the spotlight and strengthen his influence in Nigerian football. Olise praised Osimhen's talent, calling him a valuable asset to the country, but noted that like every top player, he has areas that need improvement. He highlighted the importance of growth and adaptation, especially if Osimhen is to make a lasting impact in more competitive leagues. Do you agree with Sunday?
Absolutely. At this point, you know, everyone is watching Victor Osimhen. If he decides to actually stick to Galatasaray, nobody's going to pay attention to him. I mean, he's proven that he still got it in him by going to Galatasaray. He's proving his mark there. Now, if Galatasaray is not coming with a meaningful project that's going to make him compete favorably in the UEFA Champions League, trust me, whatever it is he's doing in Turkey, nobody's paying attention. For a player who has been ranked number 8 in the Ballon d'Or, you know, when he won the African Football of the Year, it says a lot about his quality, and everybody wants to see him move a notch, you know, up higher the ladder. Now, you know, EPL is where you can actually make that mark, or La Liga, or Bundesliga. These are, you know, the 3 top leagues, you know, the top 3 leagues in the world at this point. So if you must make a move, right, EPL is a very good place. I mean, the publicity is there. You know, Victor Osimhen is a very physical player. It's where he's really going to really enjoy his game. And then there are a lot of teams that are, you know, of top quality there. And if he goes there, you know, Premiership side have been doing quite well in Europe in the last couple of years. So then he's going to really have an opportunity to be in the spotlight more. And of course, if they eventually get to winning one of the biggest, you know, European Championship, then of course we might be looking at him as a, you know, a top 3 Ballon d'Or contender. But if he doesn't make that move to Europe, to mainstream Europe, let me use that word, at this point, it's going to be really difficult because a lot of persons a lot of interest will start, you know, dwindling on his part, and of course his value, you know, will definitely go down as well.
All right, Marwan, does he need to prove anything by joining the Premier League to remain in the spotlight?
I mean, the only where there has been talks about people wanting him is the EPL, and I would just want to sound a note of caution. He should not be desperate to go and join any mid-table team in the EPL because he wants to join an English side, an EPL side. If he does that mistake, going to join maybe a West Ham or one of these mid-table teams, that might be the end of his career. And I think Olise is very, very correct. And the key part, apart from the fact that, you know, he's talking to him about moving to England for him to be able to prove himself and for him to be in the spotlight, he talks about he needs improvement. There are areas he needs to improve. Obviously, Olise might not want to come out and tell him that, you know, he needs to fix his attitude a bit, he needs to fix his emotion a bit. But I think it's a very, very valid and good advice for him. Wherever he's going to go, he needs to work on his adaptability. He needs to work on when people poke him. He needs to be able to control his emotions and not react, you know, without thinking things through. I mean, a typical example was his reaction to Finidi George. I mean, that reaction might be one of the reasons why he's where he is at the moment. However, I think Olise is very correct. If he stays in Turkey, that might be the end, because, I mean, I'm not disrespect to the Turkish league. I think Osimhen is way bigger than the Turkish league. He can easily get 60 goals every season if he decides to stay there. However, how relevant will the 60 goals be in the scheme of things? Turkey is the back street of Europe. It's not the main street of Europe when it comes to football. And a talent like Victor Osimhen should not, you know, be languishing there. If what's come to us, probably he should just switch teams. There has been reports that Juve might be interested in signing him. Juve too is a top club. Yes, they are struggling at the moment, but at least they are a top club in the Italian Serie A. I think that probably put him in the spotlight. However, he should not make the mistake to stay in Turkey. That might be the end of his career.
All right, it's now a big decision for Victor Osimhen to make as far as his next football chapter is concerned. All right, we still encourage you to drop your comments and call us via the WhatsApp number showing on the screen. You can also join the conversation and tell us what you think. With what we've been discussing so far are so good. And of course, the comments are buzzing on the YouTube platform. And this one, okay, Tarot is talking about the lines. The lines are available. The WhatsApp line is available. You can call us via the WhatsApp line and we'll be able to take your comments on the show. And of course, this one is from Ambrose. They say, Ekong'S have left the national team long ago. The last AFCON should have been his valedictory tournament. Okay, he said that should have been his sent for. He did very well at the last tournament. Maybe just to give him one more AFCON, but not. I don't know whether he's going to be a major starter. It depends on his form going into the next AFCON. And it's all. He also said that let Osimhen go to China and make more money. Footballers retired. I don't think China is spending money on footballers anymore. I think that project has gradually fizzled out. It's now Saudi money. So I think maybe he's trying to talk about Saudi Arabia. But it is what it is. Let's talk about the Club World Cup. Inter Milan went through to the last 16 of the Club World Cup with victory over Argentina's side River Plate, who finished their final Group E game with 9 players and are out of the tournament. The bad-tempered match at Lumen Field in Seattle ended with River Plate Marcos Acuna having to be restrained by teammates and staff, including his captain Franco Armani and Inter manager Christian Chivo, as he chased opposition winger Denzel Dumfries, who was jogging off the pitch, and fans threw objects at players as Dumfries was escorted down the tunnel. Marcos Acuna, though an Argentine, definitely normally hotheads, but I think Marcos Acuna has not proven to be a very troublesome player. And I think Dumfries anyway had it coming, trying to waste time and so on and so forth. But no matter what they were going to do, Inter had this game. And it's too bad that the match was ill-tempered. They ended with 9 men on the pitch against the Inter side.
It's football. Players sometimes lose their emotion. And, you know, especially when you're playing against a very tough opponent. I'm not talking about the team now. I'm talking about who you're playing against. Dumfries is playing from the right. Acuna is actually playing from as a left fullback. Dumfries is a right fullback who likes to actually go forward. And you know, Acuna is quite very difficult to play. He's strong. He's also very fast. So when you're playing against that sort of opponent, sometimes it gives you this restlessness inside of you. It gets very uncomfortable because everybody wants it easy, and then it brings this level, this sort of agitation, and before you know it, a very little altercation everywhere goes sour, and players sometimes when the emotion is quite high, when the tempo of the game is quite high, they really don't know how to put the emotion in check, and that's exactly what we saw. It's not really the first time. We saw it in 2006 World Cup final when Zidane actually headbutted Materazzi in that particular final. I mean, if he had, just restrained himself a bit, perhaps France would have won that World Cup in 2006. But that moment, it's quite difficult to actually control when players are actually in that particular trajectory. So I kind of understand what the situation is, because when players are on the loose like that, it's quite difficult for them to actually hold themselves back. We've seen players, sometimes it's even a player and a coach altercation. Sometimes it's goalkeeper and a player, teammates, and so it happens all of the time. In fact, there was this situation I actually saw at the Legacy pitch, in Surulere National Stadium, where it was a game, and then at some point the opponent, one of the opposition player actually I don't know what he said to the goalkeeper of the team, and then when the referee tried to actually restrain him, he attacked the referee, and players can get get to that level when they are actually angry, or when it feels that what they actually want on the field of play is actually not going for them. So yes, it's part of the game, but the only thing is we'll just always call for caution, talk to players. That's exactly one of the reasons why players when they are about to go to the field, many of them get psychological help. Many of them get to really understand what it takes to actually put themselves in check. If you look at that 2014 team that actually won the Premier League in England, the Leicester City side, is it 2013 or 2014? No, 2014 team that won the Premier League in England. One of the things that the coach then, Claudio Ranieri, did was to actually bring a psychologist, these people who does yoga, to actually help them be able to control their emotion and then help them to actually break the mental edge of them not winning a major title. So all of these things are part of exactly what goes into football, and that's why football commentators will always say that what happens on the field is just about 10% of the entirety that you've been dealing with before you come onto the pitch. So it's just one of those very ugly side of football. I just hope they just get to put things together and we'll just keep enjoying the beautiful game.
All right, Mario, we saw what happened at the Club World Cup. It looks like it was a free for all in that game between Inter Milan and River Plate.
Well, the thing is this: River Plate knew they were going out. Inter Milan had the advantage, and they were wasting a whole lot of time. Acuna was frustrated in that particular game, and it was just a matter of time before things kicked off. Dumfries too. Remember, Dumfries too is a bit hot-headed. However, I think Acuna started it with the kind of tackle he handed out, and a whole lot of things were said, and that was how it kicked off. I mean, the display from Liverpool Plate, their conduct was very poor. There is fair play, there is sportsmanship in football. You will not expect, players who are professional to act that way. I mean, Acuna is a World Cup winner, for heaven's sakes. I mean, he should have acted better. However, sometimes your emotions get the best of you. I mean, if a one-time world best player, FIFA world best player, could turn around in the final of a crucial World Cup final and they boot somebody, I mean, it shows that every player on the field of play, they have emotions, and if their emotion is touched the wrong way, they get to react violently. It's just so sad that happened. I hope karma has prevailed. I know Acuna will be sanctioned according to reports. I don't know how much sanction is going to get, but however, as professionals, they needed to conduct themselves professionally, and that scene yesterday was just disgraceful. And I hope going forward, there will be karma in terms of how players conduct themselves on the field of play. I mean, a lot of people tune into football, watch football, and we don't want to be seeing scene of chaos and violence on the field of play.
All right, football without violence, definitely. All right, Inter were beaten by Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League final. Will play Brazilian club side Fluminense in the last 16 on Monday. Monterrey beat Urawa Red Diamonds 4-0 to progress to the knockout stage by finishing second in Group E on 5 points, 1 point ahead of River Plate. The Mexican side will now face German club Borussia Dortmund on Wednesday at the knockout stage, and I can't wait to see PSG up against Lionel Messi's MLS side. Okay, let's talk about some transfer news before we wrap it up. Liverpool have taken their summer spending to about £170 million for the signing of left back Milos Kus from Bournemouth in a deal worth £40 million. That's quite a decent fee for the 21-year-old Hungarian left back who's been awesome. He was awesome last season, and he's just 21.
Yes, I had a very good season last season. And in fact, Bournemouth generally, they did quite well last season. I mean, you also remember that their centre-back has been poached by Real Madrid. So they had a very, fantastic year. And it's also a very big move for him, 21. I just hope that he's not going to cave under the pressure of playing at the Anfield, where the noise and the ovations and the demands are quite high. Because this is exactly what real players and top players are actually made of, those sort of stage. I mean, it's a good one. And the Hungarian, they are actually not known to be top football nations recently. Of course, back in the 50s and 60s, they did quite well. But now, not much have been heard about footballers from that part of the world. But seeing a young man from that part of the world being put by
2 Hungarians in Liverpool.
Yes, being being poached by Liverpool. I think it's actually very big for him. And at 21, Liverpool still have nothing less than 10 years of good service from him. That's if he's going to stay all through the 10 years for Liverpool. So yes, it's got a lot. I just hope it's not injury prone. And what we saw with Bournemouth is not just one season wonder.
All right, and of course, Mayowa, you've seen Kekes. He now joins up Florian Wirtz and right back Jeremy Frimpong, both from Bayer Leverkusen, and it looks like the transfer window at Liverpool is getting more glossy each time and every day.
Well, I mean, that is the stuff of champions. They just won the league, and they did so well last season. £270 million. that shows that that's a team that has intent. Keke is a fantastic player, and like Ikechukwu said, I hope he doesn't cave under the pressure of playing in Liverpool because of the whole expectation, and he's pretty young. But the big question is this: the so-called competition, the likes of Manchester United, the likes of Arsenal, they are on no juni, and when one no.
Did you say Man United is a competition?
Money to buy.
I don't see any competition.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. You're just literally saying.
I said the likes of Arsenal.
No, Arsenal is not a competition. Only Man City.
United.
It's only Man City. It's only Man City. Just leave Man City.
I mean,
the rest are going to watch.
Their mates are spending money. Their mates are spending money. The others are spending speculation. That's what they are spending. They are spending speculation, and before you know it, the top players will leave the market, and they will start buying players that are not fit. But in any case, it shows intent, and I'm looking forward to the Liverpool of next season. To be honest with you, with what they are assembling right now, the only problem I see with Liverpool next season is how quickly they gel. If they gel quickly, I will not be surprised if Liverpool goes ahead and probably win a double or win a treble with what they are assembling at the moment. They are not relaxing, and I hope other teams in the EPL, I hope they are seeing what Liverpool is doing for them to be able to pick up and be able to give Liverpool a run for their money next season.
All right. Anyway, they've also added an under-21 goalkeeper. Okay, he's also from Hungary too. Talking about Amin Percy. Okay, once it's about Hungary and Liverpool this time, and he was brought in for 1.5 billion pounds as a third choice. And there's also the second choice, Giorgio Mamardashvili. He's Georgian, and what a star-studded side. I think I'm excited.
That's our star-studded.
Yeah, star-studded side.
You must win something next season, though.
You said that's
it's not contested.
Wait, Jerry, you said that's star-studded.
Yes, they are stars. Star-studded side. Anyway, congratulations to fans of Cristiano Ronaldo. He has signed a new 2-year contract with Al Nassr. That means he will stay with the Saudi Pro League club until beyond his 42nd birthday. The Portugal captain 40 joined the Riyadh-based team in December 2022 after leaving Manchester United in acrimonious circumstances. And I think since then, things have been going well for Cristiano Ronaldo.
I mean, things will definitely be going well for Cristiano Ronaldo. His quality speaks for himself. I mean, his reputation precedes him. Whatever it is he touches turns to gold. He's a marksman, and he's always been a marksman. So it doesn't matter the club. I mean, whichever club that wants to bring him would definitely want to build a project around him because, of course, they know that he's definitely going to deliver. So it's not surprising. Congratulations to him. This is another very big win for him and for the Saudi Pro League.
All right, Maiwa, that's where we'll leave it. Ronaldo, imagine he'll stay at United.
Well, if he had stayed at United, he would have rubbished him. It's better that he went. However, the big question is this: when is he going to win something for Al Nassr? He has not been able to win the league for Al Nassr. They've been crashed out. They've been knocked out in all competitions. I hope the next 2 years he'll be able to deliver a trophy for Al Nassr, basically. And for the other teams that are, spending speculation, I hope they do better. Thank you for having me, Jerry.
All right, it's been a pleasure. And of course, big thanks to Ikechukwu for being a part of the show as well. And big thanks to the guys behind the scene talking about the likes of Victor, Alex, Paul, and of course, Ikechukwu. My name is Jerry Apele. Thanks for being a part of the show. Up next is Political Lens with Chukwuma Okoro. Until then, stay safe, and if not anything at all, do it the spot way.